As requested, here is the tubular peyote stitch tutorial. Before I do any tutorials, I say if you are not native, please don't use any native designs. I'm using deer hide, fireline, and a tulip needle. And after knotting the thread, I'm going to stick it through the deer hide and then wrap it around. I like to wrap it about 3 times around before I stick the needle back through. This just helps give me an extra sturdy base. This tutorial is for an odd count peyote stitch also, so I counted out about 13 beads. I'm using check beads. And to start the peyote stitch, you're going to wrap the beads around and go through only the first bead on your line. The beads are now wrapped around your hide. Here's that again, going only through the first bead to wrap the beads around. Now that I've got a first row of beads on, I'm going to skip a bead and go through the next bead. And we're going to be using that pattern pretty much through the whole thing. You're going to want to make sure the fire line is tight when you're doing this, so you get a good, nice, tight first row. This first row is the hardest part because you're going to need to get it really tight in order for it to go around properly. And you're just going to keep going, skipping every other bead until you have the first row complete. And as you can see, it's going to look a little funny, but as you do more rows, it will look better. I'm showing this over and over again just so it's clear. But it's very important that you skip every other bead on this row and to just make sure that the beads are just nicely tight. And this is what it looks like when the first row is complete. Then you're going to go through the bead that you first put down on your row. And you're going to kind of just skip over the middle beads and going through every other bead again. And as you do this, you're going to start building up your rows, and you can then change different beads out to start making a pattern, changing the sizes of the rows, or doing whatever you'd like. I'm doing just a simple green ombre pattern and just building that up as I go along, changing up the different colors once I've got 2 in each row, except for the middle. Then once I come to the end of my pattern, I like to loop through and then stick the needle up through the hide one more time. Then I like to go through the beads again, just looping through, just to make sure everything is really sturdy and tight and that I won't lose the beadwork when I cut off and burn my thread. You can also stick it through the hide a couple more times, however you prefer. Then I just burn off my thread, and there you go. You have a complete piece of beadwork.